Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me today. So you can see today I'm going to be looking at the stages of e-learning now that many schools have reopened and we're back in the brick and mortar situation. So if you're interested in hearing about this topic, then please keep on watching. Okay, so many schools are now starting to reopen, and I've been talking to a variety of different teachers about their experience of this. And, we're just living in such peculiar, strange, devastating times, I think. And it's going to be, I think, a little bit awkward, maybe even a little bit weird in this situation where we have to physically distance from our students. In a lot of schools, we have to enforce that our students still wear masks inside the classroom and that they can't engage in any group work. And, even entering the school in single file in one direction and keeping distances is something that I never imagined that schools would be like, after being in the classroom for 27 years and enjoying that rapport and the laughter and that connection with my students. I can't imagine how challenging it is under these circumstances. So I wanted to share with you probably the stages that we're all going to go through as we go back to school and reopen schools. And it's not going to be the same as it has been because of the physical distancing and all the protocols to keep everyone healthy and safe. But at least there's light at the end of the tunnel and we can see the stages that we're going to go through. So I think a lot of schools went through the survive stage where they've worked out all the protocols for physical distancing. They've kind of worked out the timetable as well. And from that point, since schools reopened, I think that a lot of schools are striving, towards trying to provide the best learning environment, both synchronously, asynchronously, in this blended environment, or even using a high flex, which I think would be very, very challenging with the very little time that schools have had to prepare. Remember, from research, a true effective blended learning environment takes 6 to 9 months to be able to plan and develop. And so, we haven't had the luxury of having that time to really plan an effective e-learning strategy. So I think, we can only do our best. And once we've decided whether we want synchronous, asynchronous, or blended approach, we've got to start thinking about what learning looks like and what that experience looks like for our students. You can see from survive to strive, I've got a green box here to encourage everyone to make sure that they revive. I know that many educators have worked so hard during these 12 weeks or during however long your school has been closed, and we're just exhausted. And so just a reminder that we should be reviving and looking after our well-being in between these stages. So after Strive, we really want to try to encourage using more of the e-learning affordances, such as ubiquitous learning, which means that we should be able to give our students more agency by letting them choose where and when they actually learn and engage in the learning experiences we've designed. At the same time, we want the learning experiences to be differentiated, and so students can actually either choose to work in groups, or they can choose learning experiences based on the interest, so that it's interest driven and that learning experience a high ceiling, low threshold, and students can access any learning regardless of wherever they come from in terms of their background and disposition. So after the Thrive stage, I know that some schools are kind of moving between Thrive and Arrive, where we have a completely blended learning unit that involves the best pedagogical e-learning affordances and practices, where we're combining both asynchronous and synchronous, because research does tell us that when we employ both these strategies, it is actually more effective on student learning and achievement than if we employ each of those strategies separately. And we want to also encourage that community of inquiry by making sure that our e-learning environment has these three elements of social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. And if you've got any suggestions on how we can get through this time where schools are reopening and how we can promote more connections with our students while we're still physically distancing, then please put a comment in the section below. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.